Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, Charlie Morgan, and all the other gurus that you watch are making millions per month off of you, and they're doing it in real time, showing their exact steps. So do you ever wonder why all these supposed exposed videos with career-ending information keep on getting published, but these guys seem to walk away scotch-free, making even more money than they did before in the first place? Well, today I'd like to show you their step-by-step blueprint. I, with my own company, was able to make a modest, in comparison, $160K a month. Yes, you heard that right. So if there's a very small part of you that likes to question the common narrative, I would like to show you how these gurus, who are literally the age of university students, are taking home more than top employees at Fortune 500 companies like Apple and Amazon. I'll show you how to copy everything that they do and give you the implementations that you can follow so that you can get the fair share of what you deserve and do it in the right and ethical way while playing your part in a fight against the real scammers, but I'll touch on more of that later. Education is the most powerful tool that humans have. The ability to learn is what separates us from every other species in the animal kingdom. Without it, we'd still be trying to rub two stones together and would probably have been extinct by now. The most legendary and influential human beings in modern and old history were all educators. Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Martin Luther King, even Jesus Christ and other prophets. They introduced new ideas which fundamentally made others go through a transformation, whether physical or whether mental. That is why you know their names and not the name of the person who made the couch or chair that you're sitting on watching this video today. People care a lot more about the change that they inflict onto themselves versus ones that come from externally onto them. So imagine how happy you'd be if someone gave you a can of Coca-Cola. Well, it's a nice gesture. But imagine that same person sat you down and spoke about your eating and health habits and made you stop destroying your own body for the rest of your life. You'd care a lot more and thank them at every opportunity in the longer life that you're going to live. That's because it is permanent, and information and transformation lasts forever once it's there, where the Coca-Cola can only be consumed one time. So I want you to think about a goal that you have in your life. Since you're watching a business video, boil it down to a number that you want to achieve. Let's say the amount of money in the next 12 months. Think of all the problems that are currently in your way, stopping you from achieving that right now. Maybe you aren't able to focus and work for as long as you want to. Maybe you don't know certain things. Maybe you keep watching videos like this instead of actually sitting down and getting done what needs to get done, or maybe you aren't healthy enough for whatever reason. Fundamentally, you know what is holding you back, and you also likely know what the solutions to those problems are anyways. So why do you never have the ability to change them at all? Well, I was in the situation myself when I started about 3 years ago. I had discipline for everything, for working out, for meditation, but my business. And I couldn't figure out what kept going wrong. Well, what I know now is that a transformation has a price, and know that price is never going to be money. It is pain. Money is only an expression of pain, the same way that time could be. So, give you an example. If you want to grow strong in the gym, you have to damage your muscles physically. Well, that's a physical pain. If you want to improve your chess game, for example, you have to spend hundreds of hours at the board practicing. That's a time pain. So if you want to learn a skill that has the ability to produce you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, the price that you have to pay is a financial pain, being the one in your wallet that leaves, because it makes you pay attention and attribute value at its core principle. So everything changed for my beginner self the day I spent my life savings on a course. I was a dishwasher, I saved up $2,500 and spent it all. The rug got pulled on me from this course, and a week later I lost all my money and I didn't get absolutely anything back, and it was following the most focused period in my life that I had ever experienced. I could finally sit down and get the things done that I knew I needed to get done. And then what I realized is that the true value of education is not what these gurus actually do. It's not the product with the best features and the best gimmicks. It is the environment where you are the most likely to go from where you are now to where you want to be. And their job is to curate and enhance that to give you the highest likelihood of success. Now, I'm not saying that every guru out there in the world is a goody two-shoes. There are definitely their bad apples. But what I'm saying is that the reason these big names keep succeeding is because they are genuinely changing the people's lives that they work with. I am one of those people. I used to watch Hamza, Iman Gadzhi, and even in the last 12 months, I've spent over $10,000 on my own personal development. My coaching business, which I started with my partners Dylan and Noah, makes more than a 10 times multiplier of that $10,000 every single month. So in my end of the deal, I think I got the better side. And what I want to show you now is that it's up to you whether you want to listen to me. We're about to walk through how all this actually happens, and you'll either walk away ready to copy and implement everything that I've spoken about, or you'll at least know what these gurus are doing behind the scenes so that you, as the viewer, can extract more value to increase the likelihood that you see success. So without further ado, the video is about to get really boring and paint drying on the wall, but if you listen, I promise I'm going to change your life. Okay, so what we have in the bottom right here is what we're going to be covering. So we're going to be going through how they turn attention into money, the way to identify your people to actually target, how other people are doing it right now, the prices and how they are created, and your next 5 moves to get started. So how are they turning the attention from their videos into pure money? Well, first things first is we have YouTube. This could also be Instagram or any other social platform. In similar to those, we'll just put an ad there. So they have some form of attention that is getting eyeballs. So let's draw a little eyeball here. So they're getting eyeballs to their content, but where are they driving all this? Well, every single time it is going to go to some form of landing page, which I'll write LP to stand for. These landing pages are done extremely simple, usually just a kind of long format page style with a VSL at the front, and then they're going to just have proof that they have done what they've said they've done all the way down below, always trying to redirect you to click some big button here, which is either going to go to one of 2 things. In some cases, they're going to be selling what is called a LTP, which stands for low ticket product. This is something cheaper than their main offer, and in other cases, they're going to be selling something or offering something such as a consultation or a free strategy session, for example. And this is where they will hop onto a call with you to try and sell you onto what the low ticket program advances into right here, which is going to be the HT, which stands for high ticket. Now, depending on what niche you operate in, high ticket can mean a lot of different things. In an example, like a chess niche, for example, this could be $1,000. They go, whoa, that's a lot of money. But for example, in the SMMA niche, which is the one that I grew my coaching business in, we were charging upwards of, well, $10,000. And that was high ticket for us. And the way this pricing is done, and this is where the whole scam thing comes up and people are unhappy, is what I like to call a value gap. So fundamentally, people that are selling something have a skill that people down here do not have. So we'll just say you as in the example of customer. This could also be me. And then this right here is going to be our guru. And skill is what this graph is speaking about. So we've got a size gap here, and in direct correlation to the size of this thing is the price that they are able to charge. So what that means is that if they have a huge value add that they're providing to people, someone has the ability to make, for example, a 10K a month salary. That over a 12-month span is worth, well, $120,000. So asking 10 grand for it is quite reasonable given that they get all the payoffs. So that is how the pricing model works. And depending on what skill you pick and depending on the expertise that you have and the transformation you're able to take somebody through is the amount of price that you can charge. So fundamentally, they have the traffic, they have those pages. Well, what are they even doing in their content in the first place? Well, the same way that I'm doing right now, they are all providing education. But there's a kind of specific way that all this happens that some people choose to not follow and some people follow down to a T. And that is showing the what and not the how. So the how is always going to be crossed out. The education they provide is saying, okay, you need to do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, but they never explain how to actually do it. And what this does is it forces people to go, okay, well, now how do I solve it? They have a question. Well, from that point on, that is when they go to get further help on the landing page, etc. And that is when someone is selling information as their offer. There's another example of a business model where someone sells a service, still an information service, but fundamentally a service. For example, my business did one-on-one consulting. Because of that, because what we were actually selling was a service, it didn't benefit us to conceal any information because that had nothing to do with our product. So what we did is we sold the info, including the how, and then from that point on, that drove traffic into the implementation. So we pretty much guaranteed that this information would be implemented, done properly, and achieve the results if they were to work with us directly. And some people took us up on that offer, and that's how we made our money. And some people didn't. We just provided them value and made their lives better. So that is how the pricing model works. The next thing is, well, how do these people even pick the place where they service or do what they do? And this is what you like to call finding a niche. So what is a niche? It is a form of person who can receive a benefit from whatever you are selling. So they are eligible to receive a benefit, but we will say receive value. That is what provides a niche. And a lot of the time when someone's thinking of a niche, they're very idealistic. They assume themselves to be an authority they're not. And what that leads to is them charging more than they might actually be worth initially and destroys their entire company. What you want to do when you're starting, and this is the first step that you need to action. You need to write down skills that you personally have. So maybe you're really good and in really good shape. So you have the skill of growing a great physique. Or maybe you're extremely good at cooking. Well, you have the skill of cooking. So you want to write down and list out all the skills that you see yourself have. The more valuable and the more difficult the transformation to come by is how you're going to then transition into a ranked list that you do. So for example, let's say that you are a very talented knitter. The transformation of someone going from a novice knitter to an expert knitter might not be as great as the transition from someone going from a novice copywriter to an expert copywriter. The difference between what the actual estimated market value of that is going to be is very different. And I just want you to take a guess and rank number 1, 2, and then just go down and rank all the skills that you have. So then the final step is we're going to take this list and we're going to assort a dollar value. So maybe you work a job right now, maybe you don't. But what I want you to do is I want you to attribute a dollar value per hour that you think is a fair price for you if you were literally over the person's shoulder, working with them directly like they were in the same room as you or wherever you need to be in order to perform that activity or skill. So let's say the top one that you have is only worth $250, for example. If it's worth more than that and you got a skill that you can charge valuable, perfect. That's going to be the niche that you have. You likely already know it if you got this far. If it's not, and it's extremely cheap and it doesn't seem like it has the progression to keep growing and going on, then we need to look for a solve. From that point on, we have 2 examples. First things first that I'll tell you is that it is almost completely unlikely that the thing and the skill that you have is worth absolutely no value at all once you are the best in it and actually executing it. So for example, let's say you're the best gardener ever. You could make a lot of money being the best gardener ever, selling information on how to do that. However, if you're just a pretty good gardener, you might not be able to make as much money right here. So what you want to do from this point on is learn to become what I like to call the one step ahead man. So you can either pick something that you already have, or you can pick something that you're interested in if you have nothing on this list at all, and you're going to go ahead and turn that into your niche. Now, when you're first starting, because you don't have the expertise to charge a lot of money, if you're working directly one-on-one in a room with a person, the way that you are going to grow this into a business that can fuel your lifestyle and easily get you out of working whatever job you're working now, or get you out of financial troubles, but then expand you to a level where you're actually growing a legitimate business, is going to be by simply documenting the process that you are going through. So, for example, let's say that you want to teach people how to box, but you don't really know how to box yourself. What you want to do is you'd like to go onto the platforms like YouTube, for example, and on YouTube, you're going to be consistently posting videos of your boxing journey, and you're going to take it extremely seriously. You're going to train as if you were trying to go pro. And from that point, what's going to happen is other people who are in the same position as you are going to see that, represent this eyeball, and they're going to want to get into contact with you. And slowly and surely, as you get a little bit better and a little bit better, the increment between them down here and you up here is going to go from very small, maybe you guys could step in and spar together and there wouldn't be an issue, to very large. And it's going to be like, holy cow, this person went from absolutely nothing to absolutely everything. And when you actually undergo this transformation live and you let eyeballs see it, it actually becomes more powerful for your business in the long run. Like, for example, on my channel, you can see me grow from a novice agency owner into an expert agency owner, teaching people how to do it. And then now you're seeing me transition to teaching people how to capitalize on this opportunity. An amazing example, and probably the most popular one, is Iman Gadzhi. He had been posting vlogs since he was 14 years old. And because of that, there's a backlog of 8 or 10 years of content that just shows him going from just a kid in London who didn't have much to what he is today. And because of that, it grows so much proof. And in direct proportion to the amount that he grew is the amount that he has changed in the amount that he charges and the way his deliverables worked. He had earlier courses, one similar to the one that you might have at this phase here, where he honestly didn't charge that much. He had the Influencer Ignite and a whole plethora of other ones. And then as time went on, he got Grow Your Agency and continued and expanded his skill set. So I mentioned course, but transparently, my recommendation is that you do not do that at first. The reason why is because, first off, it is going to cost you a lot of time, just too much time, to sit down and record a course. And likely because, once again, the gap that you have right now isn't enough to warrant a very big charge. You probably don't know everything that you're going to know once you get to that skill level that warrants that big charge. So if you sit down and record this elaborate course right now, you're really just going to be explaining how much you didn't know as soon as you get better. And that's why the best way to start is literally just by documenting your journey and offering to, only if someone wants, spend time to consult with you one-on-one. Now, the reason why this is powerful is because the best thing you could do is be in the room with them, showing them how to do everything. But as soon as we scale that back into reality and what we can actually deliver for multiple people, it is going to be to just spend time one-on-one via online calls and consulting with them in order to help them achieve whatever transformation we had underwent. And you'd be surprised how many people would prefer this over speaking with the huge titan of industry, right? Would you rather learn from an 18-year-old who maybe has the physique that you want when you're 18 years old? Or would you rather buy this crazy physique training from Chris Bumstead and have to take steroids, or he's the biggest guy in the world, so it's not really relevant? People resonate with the fact that you are close to them. It is exactly what we did with our own company. We scaled marketing agencies, and there were people in our space who had done way more than us. They had done hundreds and millions of dollars that their actual agencies made. And myself, my business partner, had really only made $20K a month individually with our own agencies before we started and went back and obviously scaling a lot bigger to where we are now in the future. But my key point that I would like to show you is that the gap between 20K a month and the gap between $0 a month, which is where people who became our customers and wanted to start an agency actually were, was enough for us to extract over $100,000 a month. So as you grow this skill, it is going to become extremely valuable. And I've shown in my last videos, the way that we started out was not complex at all. I might even open it for you right here. What we did with people, and I actually have an image of one of the calls, which is going to be absolutely amazing to show you guys. But let it load, let it load, let it load. All right, perfect. So as you can see here, this is an example of one of the calls that we used to run. You would see myself right here, my business partner Dylan, and we had all these people who simply wanted to trade places with us based on the goal that we had achieved with our marketing agencies. And because of that, we'd spend time with them both in group settings and one-on-one to provide them value. And if you go to a company now, if you search up Catalyst Holdings, or on our old name still, Relentless Success Club, and you go right here to the website and we go to case studies, you'll see that all these people that were on these calls were able to actually get absolutely insane results. And the reason why is because we spent the time one-on-one to ensure the transformation. And they preferred that over going to the absolute titans that we had in our industry. So that is exactly how you identify a niche, how you actually capitalize it, how we did the same thing, and really what you need to do to start. So if I want to simplify it, you need to identify your skill. Excuse my writing here. You want to identify your skill. Then you are going to begin documenting journey. And I promise you, if you are able to just open up the camera for maybe 5-10 minutes every other day or so, record a video, make some progression, showing what you're doing, and then as you begin to gain traction, and even a small audience of 20 or so people, make videos and make offerings to work with people one-on-one or to contact you and to make that offer to them privately in messages, you are going to begin to create an audience, which if you work with one-on-one directly and post for at least 6 months, I guarantee you, you can make an income on the one-on-one consulting alone that is going to pay you way more than any job that you could get would. So from that point on, well, what else do I need to do? And why does it seem so simple? And I'll tell you right now that it is going to be extremely difficult to do, right? Obviously, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's also going to take a lot of mental resilience. You're going to have to be posting the same way every single day for months, and if you want to do this for the rest of your life, years. And in these postings, you're just going to be, once again, documenting your journey, providing value the best way you can. And if you commit to that action alone, there is going to be a bubble of people that want to pay you for your time to undergo whatever transformation that you have. So you might be asking, well, this all sounds great, but is this reserved for the top few elite or guys who literally just want to go head over heels and dedicate their entire lives to doing this? And to answer that question, just no. Let me head over to school.com here. So as you can see right now, this is actually a mock school community. We got our real ones all the way over here of what we do. But if I were to click in to discover communities, and we have all of these niches and genres of people that are actively doing the same thing because they understand what needs to be done. Go to photo and video. We can see photography groups. We can see reflections academies. We can see arts and crafts. We can see tech. We can see music. We can see sports. We can see chess. We can see jumps. We can see soccer. We can see real estate. We can even see relationship chaining. How to be a high-level husband. Here we go, $9.97 a month. Maybe someone on this video needs that. And what I want to really get across is that everyone is doing this. And if you are not starting right now, you're going to be behind the curve. This is going to be the model of the future. And in order to execute it, the place that you need to start is simply, again, taking that content that you have, begin posting. And as soon as you begin posting, only after you publish your first video, you're going to sit down and you're going to be making your landing page. And once you've sat down and made your landing page, all your goal is going to be to do is to collect the information of every single person that decides to opt in, get in contact with them, and eventually make the offers to work one-on-one. My future videos, I'm going to be giving you guys walkthroughs on how all this is done, even how to make the landing page, a full course, and templates that you can actually copy and follow. But this is the model of the future. Alex Ramosi said it, I lived it, and you're seeing everyone change their lives in front of your faces. So if you don't believe me, then I tried my best.